My name is Kristina Feldhammer. I'm a multidisciplinary artist based in Vienna. Defining myself as an artist or calling myself as an artist really just happened as a, how should I put this? It just was the easiest way or most practical way to give a broad overview of what I was doing, because when I first started out, it was mainly just about photography, but I still wouldn't want to describe myself as a photographer. So it was easier to just say, okay, well, I'm an artist. But over the years, I also think that it became less and less important to me to define myself as that, because I found that it really, so when I define myself as an artist, it kind of takes up so much space, but when in fact I'm me, I'm a person, I'm a human being, and not just this artist person. I guess I'm still in this stage of figuring things out. I guess this stage will never really fade away. It's always a constant stage of figuring things out. But even now, stating that I'm a multidisciplinary artist, this has only been the case, I think, for the past couple of months now, as I think, for the past 10 years, it was mainly about photography and darkroom printing. But then I realized that performance and dance is such an essential part of everything that I do. I just never, I think I never really dared to describe myself as a performance artist or as a dancer. And now I realized that I really shouldn't, or I don't want to just kind of push this away, but really also invite this and say, yes, this is what I do as well. And it's not, it's not a separate thing. So sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that, but it's always like a mixture of everything. So one thing feeds into the other. I started with regarding the body as a tool, but then eventually it really became very clear to me that it's of course more than that, and it's more than just like an object that is kind of made to function. I don't know, function within a society or function within arts or whatever. And this is also the main reason why I work so much within a nature environment, really, because it's so interesting for me how the human body is so entangled with the bodies of other living and also non-living beings, objects, whatever, in order to survive. And there's kind of this constant and still kind of, I think, prevailing dualism of nature versus culture, and also this, nature versus the human beings then, because we are kind of seen as part of culture then. I think this is what I'm kind of trying to I wouldn't dare to say that I try to break up this dualism, but I'm interested in finding ways to finding ways around that, to really explore how physicalities, or how the relationship between different living organisms, how they react to each other, also the different cultural aspects such as language, which I find so interesting, body language, or language like interspecies language, and how you can find different ways of exploring this within performance, within art in general. I mainly work in the darkroom, and this is also what I always tend to say, that I much rather describe or define myself as a printer than a photographer, because the darkroom work for me is really the main. I never really thought too much about whether I want to work in color or black and white. I mean, in the first place, it was, I guess, a practical decision, because black and white printing was just more available for me to do than color printing, and I mainly work with alternative techniques, so that it offers a bigger spectrum of printing than I would have if I would print in color. But also I really enjoy the fact that, especially also again with the alternative methods, you really create something that is not just a lifelike documentation piece, because of course I could perform and then just document everything and leave it at that. But I really like the fact that with every darkroom print, that is really just this very, very short, tiny fragment of the whole performance piece, again, you create something different then. And that's actually something that is always kind of concerning me, or I'm thinking about this quite often, that really it doesn't make a lot of sense that I try to capture something as expressive as the human body and movement, and try to capture that within a photograph. But then on the other hand, it's this kind of paradox that really interests me again. So that how can I put the essence of like a whole performance? How can I put this essence into one movement? And then again, how can I capture this movement within one image? And then again, you take this image to the darkroom, and something completely different can emerge from there as well. And this randomness and this chance and the accidents that can happen there, I think that's what is so interesting for me, and that is what really kind of drives me to keep working within this medium. Maybe art is the result of giving form to your inner, not just images, but inner worlds, really, to put what is on the inside, to put it on the outside, to make it visible, hearable, readable, whatever. But then I also think that's probably a very clumsy, very clumsy definition of what art is, or what it can be. The many potentials that it has, and I think it also really has the potential to change its meaning or its definition over time, but also maybe even each day. And I think that's really the beauty of it, that it has so many different ways of being and forms that it can take on. I found out about Wendy through other artist friends, I believe. I think they told me about it, and I really liked the fact that it's not just like this artist network, but also has these curators and that you have the option to look into grants and residencies, and I am Kristina Feldhammer, and I am Wendy's spotlighted artist for December.